Hello, 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 hello. Oh, you guys, I just had an existential crisis in the shower about this show, about my channel, about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Show, about my channel, about Blake Lively. Oh my God, that was so funny. Hello, everybody. Hello, Lisa and Nicole. I am Perez Hilton, that fellow, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and I go live here on YouTube every weekday. We do this time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you can, pretty please, only if you're able to and want to, consider becoming a member of my channel. Your support that way would be so greatly appreciated. It costs like $1 of coffee, but you get a little badge like Nicole has and Maria has. And not only do you get a badge so that everybody knows how awesome you are, but you also get to chat live with me during all of my Hot Topics shows, because these streams are member-only chats in 3, 2, 1. I just switched it. Everybody is still welcome. Everybody can comment. However, this is a member-only chat, and today, I'm going to start doing something different also. As an extra reward and thank you and appreciation for the support of my members, I'm going to do most of the show for everyone, but I'll say maybe like 25% or 30% of it, I'm going to do member only live. That's a new thing that YouTube recently launched, where I can switch from a live stream for everyone to just a live stream for my members. So I'm going to do that. And hopefully some of you get FOMO. Because, Jesus, I'm trying everything I can to weather this storm on YouTube. Apparently, a lot of other creators have suffered this massive dive off the cliff and their views have plummeted. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't think Blake Lively is responsible. I just think YouTube recently made a lot of changes. And this is affecting me. And hopefully, eventually, it'll get resolved. I have been looking at my analytics, and the good news is that when you guys see my videos, you click on them. So thank you. The bad news is YouTube is just not serving it up. So a reminder, like I told you all yesterday, please, it sucks to give you homework, but if you feel like you're missing me, if I'm not showing up in your feed, just manually search for me or turn on your notifications. I post every day, multiple times a day, okay? Thank you, Joa. All right, enough chitty chat. Let me tell you all the existential crisis that I had in the shower. I've talked about this before. I have mental health issues. I have anxiety, but I also have obsessive thinking, borderline OCD, maybe real OCD. I don't know. I've never been to the doctor and gotten assessed for that. I literally had like a little bit of a nervous breakdown in the shower because let me see what it looks like if I turn off the overhead lighting. I think that looks better. Yeah. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Double tap and like, y'all. Double tap and like. The more that you double tap and like this live, the more that YouTube pushes this out and folks will join us. I've never been assessed for OCD, but I think I have it. Anywho, last night, just before I was going to bed, really late, the response to Blake Lively's request for sanctions against Melissa Nathan hit the court docket. And I was so tempted to make a video about it, but I didn't, because I was like, you know what? I need sleep. I need sleep. And then this morning after sleep, I was like, well, maybe I'll just talk about it on my live. Should I do a video about it? A standalone video? And I said, you know what? No, not everything needs a standalone video. And also, this isn't that juicy, but it goes back to what I was saying about like my obsessive thinking and my OCD. I'm like, I need to make a video about it. I've got to make a video about it. No, we're going to talk about it now. However, don't you worry. Tomorrow, the motion for summary judgment filings are due, and I absolutely will be making videos on that, because that is gonna be extra juicy. I'm very curious to see what from the depositions they include. I don't think there's going to be any huge evidentiary bombshells in motions for summary judgment, but I do think testimony under oath in depositions will be mentioned. And you know, most of the depositions, some pieces of the depositions have already been made public, but for the most part, most of them have not. And I wanna see, I wanna read. I'm very excited for tomorrow or Thursday, depending on what time they drop. Actually, if I was Team Wayfarer, I would drop the motion for summary judgment today. I would surprise Team Kaka, because that would give them an advantage with the mainstream media. I do think if there are some revelations in motion for summary judgment, the mainstream media will cover this. And also, hello, we know Leslie Sloan and Nick Shapiro are going to work hard to get messaging out there. They're going to be planting, oh, Blake said this, Blake alleges this, this is new. Ooh, they're going to work hard to get that out there. So hopefully, maybe Wayfarer has their motion for summary judgment done already, and they can drop it ASAP today and have a long lead time and an advantage in the press to get their side of the story out. You got to think press. You got to think strategically. They should have it done by now. They've known the deadline for a long time. Drop it, I say. The OCD carries over to your work ethic. Balance work with relaxing. Your work ethic. Oh, Joa, balance? I don't have any balance. Balance, hopefully in my 50s. Right now, I still have to worry about paying my bills. Anyways, let's get to this response to the Melissa Nathan request for sanctions from Blake Lively. It's not that juicy, to be honest. What do you mean, did they extend this motion to? They already responded. Diasporic. Hey, me. So, Blake Lively asked for sanctions against Melissa Nathan, and last night, Wayfair responded. Briefly, we don't need to go into it in full. They make some very good arguments. Plaintiff's motion for sanctions fails for the simple reason that it does not stem from the violation of any court order. A district court may only impose sanctions under Rule 37BC for noncompliance with a clearly articulated order of the court requiring specified discovery. The order required the Wayfair parties to modify the redactions. Remember that? The redactions of it all? The order required the Wayfair parties to modify the redactions in their previous productions to replace black box redactions with text box redactions indicating the reason for the redaction. It is undisputed that Nathan did so. Great. Lively argues that in addition to requiring the Wayfarer parties to reproduce redacted documents with a notation reflecting the reason for the redaction, the order also required Nathan to produce 38 documents without any redactions at all. But the order does not compel Nathan to remove the redactions on any of the documents she had previously produced, let alone require the production of the specific 38 documents Lively now seeks to compel in an unredacted format. Okay. Therefore, Lively's sanctions motion must be denied because there is no clearly articulated order of the court requiring specified discovery. Okay. Lively's sanctions motion is a thinly disguised, untimely motion to compel. That makes sense. Lively first raised the issue regarding Nathan's redactions on September 23rd, over a month after the Nathan documents had been reproduced with the proper notations. While Lively agreed to identify which of the 38 documents had allegedly been produced by third parties in an unredacted form, she did not attempt to do so until October 16th. 3 weeks later, she then proceeded to file this motion a month after the close of fact discovery, fashioning it as a sanctions motion, attempting to avoid the untimeliness of her motion to compel. Thank you, Joa. Even if the court were to consider the substance of Lively's motion to compel, it should be denied. Yeah. Honestly, this is boring. So we're going to move on. Not everything is going to be exciting. Keep it moving. Double tap and like, y'all. Double tap and like. A reminder, I go live here on YouTube every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. All right. I love this, y'all. Remember Kate Gosselin? I talked about her recently, about how Kate Gosselin has returned to nursing, but has also pivoted to becoming a full-time, part-time content creator. And she's doing quite well for herself over on the Clock app. Kate Gosselin has gone IG official with her boyfriend, her former bodyguard. Yes, she's the mom, Kate plus 8. I wonder how long she's been dating him then. Steve nailed. Nailed. Good for her. She shared a list of 10 things I'm obsessed with and included in that list number 2, her boyfriend. Also, she looks amazing for her age. Like, Kate Gosselin takes care of herself. Look at that. Rocking that bikini, rocking that tank top. You go, girl. Amazing. Also, you know who looked amazing? Especially now that I know or was reminded of the backstory. I forgot my little fingers. Kim Kardashian went dressed as Halle Berry to her mother's James Bond 0070 themed birthday party. So Kim wore this dress, which I thought was beautiful. And it turns out this was a recreation of a dress that Halle Berry wore when she was a Bond girl. Let me show you. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. We're getting to it. Look at that. Well done. Well done. To have that much money that you can just spend however many thousands it cost to do that, goals, it is a beautiful dress. I think I actually like Kim's version better than the one that Halle wore. It's very similar, but I wouldn't say it's quite identical. That's Halle's version. Kim's looks just more expensive. I don't know. Kim's looks a little fancier. Well done. Well done. All right, let's keep it moving. I don't know if I believe this or not, but a new report in the Daily Mail claims that Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney, who are currently filming the next season of Euphoria, have had a falling out. They are feuding over politics. The thing about the Daily Mail is they're like Vegas, right? They're right 50% of the time, and they're wrong 50% of the time. That's a high percentage of being wrong. But they were recently accurate with the whole Millie Bobby Brown, David Harbour story. So I don't know what to believe. I just don't think Zendaya would make a big deal about that. Like, Zendaya seems like an old soul. And Zendaya is also a boss. I don't think Zendaya would let her personal feelings on things affect business. Zendaya is about the job. She's about getting the work done. And I feel like having a disagreement with Sydney Sweeney over Donald Trump or anything would just be a distraction from the work. Zendaya doesn't roll like that, I think. And exactly me, I don't even think they're friends, they're coworkers. And actually, I just had a conversation about I you can believe whatever you want, but I choose to I'm privileged. I get it. I'm privileged. I'm lucky. I'm very privileged. I'm very lucky. I choose to still love family members and people in my life, some friends also, that think differently about me when it comes to politics. I don't cut those people out of my life. If I feel like it's a newer concept to surround yourself in this bubble. I'm not wanting to be in that bubble. I happily can be civil and even friends with people who don't align with my political beliefs. That's just me. All right. In other news, let's lighten things up, shall we? This is Shady